Question 1. Which of the following actions is most critical for an adjuster when evaluating a property damage claim related to water damage? A. Verifying the policyholder's deductible. B. Assessing the source of water damage. C. Reviewing the policyholder's previous claims. D. Calculating the depreciation of the damaged property. Answer: B. Assessing the source of water damage. Explanation: when evaluating a water damage claim, it is essential to assess the source of the damage because certain types of water damage, e.g. flood versus plumbing issues, are often subject to different coverages and exclusions in a property policy. Policies may exclude damage caused by floods, while other types of water damage might be covered if caused by a malfunction within the home, such as a burst pipe. Understanding the source helps determine whether the loss is covered under the terms of the policy. It is incorrect because verifying the deductible is important, but it doesn't directly affect the determination of whether the damage is covered. C is irrelevant to this specific claim since the history of previous claims does not affect the source of the current damage. D might be necessary for estimating the cost of damage, but it is secondary to understanding whether the claim is valid based on the damage. Question 2. Scenario: Mr. Adams, a policyholder, has filed a claim for damage caused by a fire in his home. The fire damaged several items covered by his homeowner's policy, but some of the items were valued at more than their original purchase price. What should the adjuster primarily consider when assessing the claim? A. The replacement cost of the damaged property. B. The policy's exclusions related to fire damage. C. The actual cash value of the property at the time of the fire. D. The amount the policyholder paid for the insurance premium. Answer: C. The actual cash value of the property at the time of the fire. Explanation: in property insurance claims, the adjuster needs to assess the actual cash value (SEV), which is the cost to replace the damaged property minus depreciation. The ACV approach is typically used in homeowners' policies unless the policy includes the replacement cost option. The ACV ensures the policyholder is compensated for the property's current market value, factoring in depreciation. For high-value items, the ACV may be lower than the replacement cost. It is incorrect unless the policy includes a replacement cost option, which is not specified in the question. B would only be relevant if there were specific exclusions in the policy related to fire, but this isn't a focus of the claim itself. D is irrelevant because the premium amount has no bearing on the claim's settlement. Question 3. What is the primary function of the Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services (DCBS) in the insurance claim process? A. Approving insurance policies for all residents. B. Enforcing licensing requirements and regulations for insurance adjusters. C. Negotiating settlement amounts between policyholders and insurers. D. Providing legal defense for insurance companies in claims disputes. Answer: B. Enforcing licensing requirements and regulations for insurance adjusters. Explanation: the Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services (DCBS) plays a key role in regulating the insurance industry in Oregon, including enforcing licensing requirements for adjusters. The DCBS ensures that insurance professionals operate in accordance with state laws and maintain the necessary credentials to perform their duties. As incorrect as the DCBS does not approve individual insurance policies, it oversees the regulatory framework for insurance businesses. C is not correct because the DCBS does not act as an intermediary for negotiating settlements, although it ensures that claims are processed fairly. D is incorrect because the DCBS does not provide legal defense for insurers. Instead, it enforces rules and investigates violations. Question 4. Which of the following statements about the role of an independent adjuster is correct under Oregon insurance law? A. An independent adjuster works exclusively for the insurance company to process claims. B. An independent adjuster is employed by the policyholder to represent their interests in claims. C. An independent adjuster can work for both the insurer and the policyholder depending on the assignment. D. An independent adjuster cannot work on catastrophe claims under any circumstances. Answer: C. An independent adjuster can work for both the insurer and the policyholder depending on the assignment. Explanation: an independent adjuster is typically hired by an insurance company to handle claims on their behalf, but they can also be hired by policyholders, especially in the case of public adjusters. The key distinction is that independent adjusters are not employees of the insurer or policyholder, but are contracted for specific claims. They have the flexibility to work for either party depending on the contractual agreement. Is incorrect because while independent adjusters often work for insurers, they can also be hired by policyholders. B is incorrect, as independent adjusters can represent either the insurer or the policyholder, but their role is not always to represent the policyholder. D is incorrect, since independent adjusters can and do work on catastrophe claims depending on the specific situation. Question 5. When adjusting a casualty claim involving bodily injury, which of the following must the adjuster primarily focus on during the claims process? A. Determining the proper legal defense strategy for the insurer. B. Evaluating the injured party's medical treatment and future care needs. C. Reviewing the personal history of the insured to assess fault. D. Determining the loss of income for the policyholder from the accident. Answer: B. Evaluating the injured party's medical treatment and future care needs. Explanation: in a bodily injury casualty claim, the adjuster's primary focus is on assessing the extent of the injury and the medical treatment required, as well as the potential for future medical care. This evaluation helps determine the amount of compensation owed to the injured party for medical expenses, pain and suffering, and lost wages. It is incorrect because legal defense is not part of the adjuster's role. The insurer handles defense strategies. C is incorrect, as fault is an important aspect, but it is generally assessed during the investigation, not the core focus of adjusting the claim. D is relevant but secondary to evaluating the medical treatment and future care needs of the injured party. Question 6. Scenario MS. Clark has filed a claim under her homeowner's insurance for a fire that caused substantial damage to her home. The adjuster, upon inspection, discovers that the fire was caused by faulty wiring, but the home was previously not properly maintained. The policy specifically excludes damages caused by neglect. What should the adjuster do in this situation? A. Deny the claim outright due to the neglect exclusion in the policy. B. Approve the claim since the fire was caused by faulty wiring, which is a covered peril. C. Request further documentation from MS. Clark to determine if the damage was due to neglect. D. Seek guidance from the insurer's legal team on whether the neglect exclusion applies. Answer: D. Seek guidance from the insurer's legal team on whether the neglect exclusion applies. Explanation: in cases where exclusions like neglect are involved, the adjuster should seek guidance from the insurer's legal team to determine whether the exclusion applies to the situation. Even though faulty wiring might be a covered peril, the neglect exclusion complicates matters if it can be shown that the damage occurred due to lack of maintenance. The legal team can help interpret whether the homeowner's lack of maintenance constitutes neglect under the policy terms, which can affect whether the claim is covered as premature, because faulty wiring could be a covered peril and neglect must be carefully evaluated. B is incorrect because neglect could still be a factor in the exclusion despite the cause of the fire. C might be part of the process, but guidance from the legal team is crucial to determine the application of exclusions. Question 7. What is the primary role of an insurance adjuster when handling a workers' compensation claim in Oregon? A. To determine if the injured worker is entitled to a disability pension. B. To verify the cause of injury and ensure compliance with the employer's safety protocols. C. To evaluate the policyholder's medical benefits and rehabilitation coverage. D. To assess whether the injury was caused by the worker's own negligence. Answer: B. To verify the cause of injury and ensure compliance with the employer's safety protocols. Explanation: in workers' compensation claims, the adjuster's primary role is to verify the cause of injury and ensure compliance with safety protocols at the workplace. This involves determining whether the injury was work-related and whether the employer adhered to safety regulations. The adjuster also verifies the eligibility for benefits, such as medical treatment and lost wages. It is incorrect because determining entitlement to disability pensions is outside the scope of the adjuster's role. It's typically handled by medical professionals and other entities. C is important, but not the primary responsibility of the adjuster, whose focus is more on verifying the cause of injury and compliance with safety rules. D is irrelevant since workers' compensation claims are typically no fault. The adjuster does not assess negligence as part of the process. Question 8. Which of the following is the most important factor when an adjuster is determining the appropriate compensation for a business interruption claim? A. The length of time the business has been in operation. B. The physical damage to the business property. C. The business's lost profits during the interruption period. D. The amount of inventory in stock at the time of the interruption. Answer: C. The business's lost profits during the interruption period. Explanation: for business interruption claims, the adjuster's primary focus is on the lost profits during the period of interruption. This is typically the basis for calculating the compensation owed to the business. The adjuster must evaluate the business's historical earnings to determine the amount of profit that was lost due to the disruption is incorrect because the length of time the business has been operating doesn't directly affect the amount of lost profits during the interruption. B is important but secondary, as the physical damage to the property is usually covered under a separate property damage policy. D is irrelevant because inventory levels are not typically the focus of business interruption claims, which are centered on lost income. Question 9. What is the purpose of a policy endorsement in property and casualty insurance? A. To reduce the coverage limits of the policy. B. To exclude specific types of losses from coverage. C. To add, modify, or exclude coverage provisions of the policy. D. To provide a detailed explanation of the policyholder's rights. Answer. C. To add, modify, or exclude coverage provisions of the policy. Explanation. A policy endorsement is a written provision that adds, modifies, or excludes coverage in a standard insurance policy. It allows both the insurer and the policyholder to adjust the policy terms without issuing a completely new policy. Endorsements are used for many purposes, including adding coverage for specific risks or removing coverage for certain perils. It is incorrect because endorsements can both increase or decrease coverage, not just reduce it. B is incorrect, as exclusions are typically listed in the standard terms of the policy, not usually in endorsements. D is also incorrect, as an endorsement specifically modifies the policy's coverage, not the rights or duties of the policyholder. Question 10. Which of the following types of claims would most likely require the use of an estimator tool such as Xactimate or Symbility? A. Workers' compensation claims. B. Commercial auto claims. C. Property damage claims for fire, water losses. D. Health insurance claims for medical expenses. Answer. C. Property damage claims for fire and water losses. Explanation. Xactimate and Symbility are both software tools commonly used for estimating the costs associated with property damage claims, including fire and water losses. These tools help adjusters calculate repair or replacement costs for damaged property based on detailed assessments and data. Is incorrect because workers' compensation claims involve evaluating medical and disability benefits, not property damage. B is incorrect, as auto claims typically involve vehicle assessments, not the use of estimating tools for property damage. D is incorrect because health insurance claims do not require estimation tools, but rather focus on verifying coverage and medical expenses. Question 11. Scenario. Mr. Dawson has submitted a claim under his homeowner's insurance policy for damage to his roof caused by a storm. The adjuster finds that the damage occurred during a period of high winds, but also discovers significant pre-existing wear on the roof. What should the adjuster primarily focus on when determining the payout for this claim? A. The age of the roof and the depreciation rate for the materials. B. The exact cause of the damage, as wind and wear may both be factors. C. The storm's intensity to determine if the damage was a result of the weather event. D. The cost to replace the entire roof, regardless of pre-existing conditions. Answer. B. The exact cause of the damage, as wind and wear may both be factors. Explanation. In this situation, the adjuster should focus on determining the exact cause of the damage, since the roof shows signs of both wind damage and pre-existing wear. The adjuster must assess whether the storm's winds were the primary cause of the damage, or if the wear and tear on the roof contributed significantly. The adjuster should differentiate between the damage caused by the storm cover peril and the damage due to neglect or age, which may not be covered. Is incorrect because while depreciation is important in calculating the payout, the focus should be on determining the cause of the damage rather than just the roof's age. C is incorrect because while the intensity of the storm is relevant, it does not directly address whether the damage was caused by the storm or the pre-existing condition of the roof. D is incorrect because replacing the entire roof without accounting for pre-existing damage would not be appropriate. The adjuster must determine how much of the damage is attributable to the storm and how much to wear and tear. Question 12. Which of the following actions must an adjuster take when investigating a potential fraudulent claim in Oregon? A. Deny the claim immediately if there are any inconsistencies in the policyholder's story. B. Report the suspected fraud to the insurer's legal team or special investigations unit. C. Ignore minor discrepancies unless they directly impact the amount of the claim. D. Make a final determination of fraud before consulting with the insurer's legal department. Answer. B. Report the suspected fraud to the insurer's legal team or special investigations unit. C. Explanation. If an adjuster suspects a claim to be fraudulent, they must report it to the Special Investigations Unit, C, or the insurer's legal team. Fraudulent claims require thorough investigation to gather evidence and determine the appropriate course of action. The adjuster should not make a final determination of fraud independently, but should involve the appropriate parties to handle such claims with due process. It is incorrect because premature denial without proper investigation could lead to legal and regulatory consequences. A thorough investigation should be conducted first. C is incorrect as even minor discrepancies can raise red flags and these should be investigated thoroughly. Ignoring them can result in failing to identify fraud. D is incorrect because fraud investigations require collaboration with the legal or SIU teams, not a sole decision from the adjuster. Question 13. Which of the following would most likely be covered under a standard homeowners insurance policy in Oregon? A. Flood damage caused by a natural disaster. B. Earthquake damage to the structure of the home. C. Fire damage resulting from a lightning strike. D. A loss of income due to a business operating out of the home. Answer: C. Fire damage resulting from a lightning strike. Explanation: under standard homeowners insurance policy, damage caused by fire, including fire from a lightning strike, is typically covered. Standard policies usually provide coverage for fire-related losses, including damage to the structure and personal property. It is incorrect because flood damage is typically excluded under most homeowners policies. A separate flood insurance would be needed for this coverage. B is incorrect as earthquake damage is also usually excluded from standard homeowners policies in Oregon. Earthquake coverage can be purchased separately. D is incorrect because loss of income from a business operating out of the home is typically not covered under a standard homeowners policy. Business income coverage would need to be added by endorsement. Question 14. What is the primary purpose of an appraisal clause in a property insurance policy? A. To allow the insurer to set the claim payout limit. B. To provide a method for resolving disputes over the amount of a claim. C. To define the types of property covered under the policy. D. To explain the coverage limits for personal property within the home. Answer: B. To provide a method for resolving disputes over the amount of a claim. Explanation: the appraisal clause in a property insurance policy is designed to resolve disputes between the insurer and the policyholder regarding the amount of loss. If the insurer and the policyholder cannot agree on the value of the claim, an appraisal process can be initiated where both parties appoint independent appraisers to assess the damages and determine the payout. It is incorrect because the appraisal clause does not set the claim payout limit. It is used to resolve disagreements about the amount of the loss. C is incorrect as the appraisal clause does not define the property covered under the policy. D is incorrect because the appraisal clause does not address the policy's coverage limits. It specifically deals with valuation disputes. Question 15. Which of the following statements is true regarding the settlement of a claim for loss of rental income under a commercial property insurance policy? A. Rental income is covered under all circumstances, regardless of the cause of the loss. B. Coverage for loss of rental income is typically provided only if the property is rendered uninhabitable by a covered peril. C. Loss of rental income is never covered in commercial property policies. D. Rental income is covered only if the property owner is unable to operate their business due to the loss. Answer: B. Coverage for loss of rental income is typically provided only if the property is rendered uninhabitable by a covered peril. Explanation: most commercial property insurance policies provide coverage for loss of rental income, but only if the property is rendered uninhabitable due to a covered peril such as fire, storm damage, or vandalism. The coverage helps compensate the property owner for lost income while the property is being repaired or replaced. It is incorrect because rental income is not covered in all circumstances. It is limited to losses caused by covered perils. C is incorrect because loss of rental income can be covered under certain circumstances, especially when the property is uninhabitable due to a covered loss. D is incorrect because business income and rental income are two separate forms of coverage. Rental income is covered when the property is uninhabitable, regardless of whether the property owner operates a business. These additional questions further test knowledge of insurance adjuster practices and cover a variety of scenarios that one may encounter when handling claims in Oregon. Question 16. An adjuster is reviewing a homeowner's policy and notices that a portion of the property was damaged due to vandalism. The homeowner also has an outstanding mortgage. What is the most appropriate next step for the adjuster to take? A. Approve the full claim payout to the homeowner directly. B. Send the payout check to the mortgage lender first, since they have a financial interest. C. Deny the claim due to the mortgage lender's involvement. D. Wait for the homeowner to confirm whether they still live in the home. Answer: B. Send the payout check to the mortgage lender first, since they have a financial interest. Explanation: in cases where a mortgage exists on the property, the insurer generally issues the payout check in the names of both the homeowner and the lender, since the lender holds a financial interest in the property. This ensures the mortgage lender is paid for any losses incurred, especially if the homeowner has outstanding debts on the property. Question 17. Which of the following best describes the function of a loss of use coverage in a homeowner's insurance policy? A. It covers the cost of repairs to the home's structure. B. It compensates the homeowner for expenses incurred if the property becomes uninhabitable. C. It provides reimbursement for personal property lost in a fire. D. It reimburses for medical expenses incurred due to an accident on the property. Answer: B. It compensates the homeowner for expenses incurred if the property becomes uninhabitable. Explanation: loss of use coverage provides reimbursement for the homeowner's additional living expenses when the property becomes uninhabitable due to a covered loss, e.g., fire or storm. This may include hotel bills, restaurant meals, and other costs incurred while the homeowner is unable to live in the home. Question 18. Which of the following is a common exclusion in a standard homeowner's insurance policy in Oregon? A. Fire damage. B. Theft of personal property. C. Earthquake damage. D. Damage caused by windstorms. Answer: C. Earthquake damage. Explanation: earthquake damage is typically excluded from a standard homeowner's insurance policy in Oregon as it is considered a separate peril. Homeowners must purchase additional coverage, an endorsement, or separate policy to protect against earthquake damage. Question 19. If a policyholder in Oregon files a claim for theft of personal property but does not have an inventory of the stolen items, the adjuster should A. automatically deny the claim due to the lack of inventory. B. Ask the policyholder to provide an estimate of the stolen items' value. C. File the claim without further investigation. D. Send the claim directly to the insurer's fraud department. Answer: B. Ask the policyholder to provide an estimate of the stolen item's value. Explanation: while an inventory list can be helpful, an adjuster can still work with the policyholder to determine the value of stolen items by asking for estimates, receipts, or other evidence. This ensures that the claim can be processed accurately. Question 20. Which of the following conditions must be met for a business to qualify for business interruption insurance in Oregon? A. The business must be located in a high-risk flood zone. B. The business must be unable to operate due to damage caused by a covered peril. C. The business must have been in operation for at least 10 years. D. The business must employ more than 10 people. Answer: B. The business must be unable to operate due to damage caused by a covered peril. Explanation: business interruption insurance covers the loss of income when a business is unable to operate due to damage from a covered peril such as fire, storm damage, or vandalism. This coverage is essential for businesses that depend on continuous operations. Question 21. An adjuster is investigating a claim for water damage caused by a burst pipe in an insured home. The policyholder's home is located in a flood zone. Which of the following will likely be excluded from coverage? A. Water damage caused by a burst pipe. B. Water damage due to a leaking roof. C. Water damage caused by external flooding. D. Water damage from plumbing issues. Answer: C. Water damage caused by external flooding. Explanation: flooding is typically excluded under a standard homeowner's policy even if the flood causes water damage. Coverage for water damage due to external flooding, e.g. rising waters, heavy rainfall, would require separate flood insurance. Question 22. Which of the following types of claims would likely require the adjuster to consult with an environmental specialist in Oregon? A. Water damage from a leaky roof. B. Fire damage with significant smoke damage to the interior. C. Mold damage due to prolonged water exposure. D. Theft of personal property. Answer: C. Mold damage due to prolonged water exposure. Explanation: mold damage due to prolonged water exposure is a serious issue that may require specialized knowledge and testing. An environmental specialist can assess the extent of the mold and help determine the proper cleanup and remediation procedures. Question 23. In Oregon, how long does an insurance company have to acknowledge the receipt of a claim under state regulations? A. 3 business days. B. 10 business days. C. 20 business days. D. 30 calendar days. Answer: B. 10 business days. Explanation: Oregon state regulations require insurers to acknowledge the receipt of a claim within 10 business days. This time frame helps ensure that the insurer promptly begins reviewing the claim and communicates with the policyholder. Question 24. A homeowner's policy covers damage to a personal vehicle caused by hail. The policyholder's vehicle was in the driveway during the storm. Which of the following actions would most likely be taken by the adjuster? A. Deny the claim, as damage to vehicles is not covered under homeowners policies. B. Recommend the policyholder file a separate claim with their auto insurance company. C. Approve the full repair cost since it is covered under the homeowners policy. D. Provide coverage only for the structure of the home, not the vehicle. Answer. B. Recommend the policyholder file a separate claim with their auto insurance company. Explanation. Damage to a vehicle caused by hail is typically covered under auto insurance, not a homeowner's policy. The adjuster would advise the homeowner to file a claim with their auto insurer instead, as the homeowner's policy does not cover vehicles. Question 25. Which of the following is true regarding the replacement cost provision in a standard homeowner's insurance policy? A. It covers the full cost of replacing property with similar items. B. It covers only the depreciated value of the damaged property. C. It covers a fixed amount regardless of the cost to replace property. D. It covers property only if the homeowner can provide original receipts. Answer. A. It covers the full cost of replacing property with similar items. Explanation. The replacement cost provision covers the full cost of replacing damaged or destroyed property with new, similar items without deducting depreciation. This ensures that the policyholder can replace their belongings with items of similar value and functionality. Question 26. A policyholder in Oregon submits a claim for water damage caused by a burst pipe. Upon investigation, the adjuster finds that the damage could have been prevented with proper maintenance. Which of the following actions is most appropriate for the adjuster? A. Deny the claim due to lack of maintenance. B. Approve the claim but reduce the payout for negligence. C. Recommend the homeowner file a claim with their maintenance contractor. D. Approve the claim in full regardless of the maintenance issue. Answer. B. Approve the claim but reduce the payout for negligence. Explanation. While the insurance company may cover the water damage, adjusters have the discretion to reduce the payout if negligence, such as lack of maintenance, contributed to the loss. In this case, the homeowner is still responsible for maintaining their property, and the insurer may factor that into a claim resolution. Question 27. Which of the following best describes the sudden and accidental requirement in homeowners' policies for coverage of water damage in Oregon? A. Water damage must be gradual and progressive to be covered. B. Water damage must be caused by a specific storm or weather event to be covered. C. Water damage must occur suddenly and unintentionally without neglect. D. Water damage must result from flooding to be covered. Answer. C. Water damage must occur suddenly and unintentionally without neglect. Explanation. Homeowners' policies typically cover water damage caused by sudden and accidental events such as a burst pipe or an accidental overflow. However, damage from gradual issues or neglect, like a lack of maintenance, is generally excluded. Question 28. An Oregon policyholder's home was damaged by a fire. They are requesting reimbursement for the additional cost of staying in a hotel. Which type of coverage applies to this situation? A. Liability coverage. B. Dwelling coverage. C. Loss of use coverage. D. Personal property coverage. Answer. C. Loss of use coverage. Explanation. Loss of use coverage provides reimbursement for living expenses like hotel stays when the home becomes uninhabitable due to a covered event, such as a fire. This helps the homeowner manage additional costs incurred while their home is being repaired. Question 29. Which of the following is typically excluded from coverage under a standard Oregon homeowners insurance policy? A. Theft of personal property. B. Damage from a fire caused by arson. C. Damage caused by a storm or lightning. D. Damage from a landslide or mudslide. Answer. D. Damage from a landslide or mudslide. Explanation. Damage from landslides or mudslides is typically excluded under a standard homeowners insurance policy in Oregon. This is considered a natural disaster not covered by standard policies. Homeowners can usually purchase additional coverage for such events. Question 30. A homeowner in Oregon reports damage to their property caused by vandalism. Upon reviewing the claim, the adjuster finds that the homeowner failed to notify the insurer of the incident promptly. What should the adjuster do next? A. Deny the claim due to failure to report. B. Proceed with the claim but reduce the payout. C. Ask the homeowner to resubmit the claim with more details. D. Approve the claim and ignore the delay in reporting. Answer. B. Proceed with the claim but reduce the payout. Explanation. Most insurance policies have a duty to notify the insurer promptly after loss. However, the adjuster can still process the claim but may reduce the payout if the delay in reporting affects the insurer's ability to investigate or mitigate the loss. The adjuster should proceed cautiously and document the delay.